What will happen when the Earth's magnetic poles flip? Is Andromeda launching hypervelocity stars at us? Can Vera Rubin find a new target for New Horizons? And in Q&A Plus, could ants evolve to develop space travel? All this and more in this question show. It's time for the question show. Your questions, my answers. As always, wherever you are across my channel, if a question pops in your brain, just write it down. I'll gather them up and I will answer them here. All right, let's get into the questions. John Vincent's Attic. What are the chances Vera Rubin discovers a new target for New Horizons to visit? The chances are pretty good. New Horizons, of course, this is the spacecraft that did the flyby of Pluto, it did the flyby of Arrokoth, and it still has propellant in its tanks. And so theoretically, if there is another Kuiper Belt object that is discovered in its future accessibility cone, then it could be tasked to make a maneuver and try to do a flyby, possibly even two, like it just depends. And up until this point, there just haven't been surveys done of the Kuiper Belt to the level of detail that would allow them to find future targets. Are you going to spend the time doing a detailed survey with James Webb when it is already, 5 times oversubscribed and at best you can get, 30 minutes to use James Webb before somebody else needs to use the telescope. Like, they're not going to be able to commit the kind of time to do a survey at that depth to find those objects. So we need a survey telescope, and the one that is going to be operational any day now is Vera Rubin. And it is ideally suited for this kind of thing. It is going to find millions of asteroids. It is going to find tens of thousands of Kuiper Belt objects. And because it will be spending more time examining the planet ecliptic, the place where most of the Kuiper Belt objects, everything, asteroids, the Kuiper Belt object, where most of the stuff in the solar system is located, it could very well turn up those objects. It is hopefully going to be the telescope that finds Planet 9. So if it is able to, it will. And if it's not able to, then unfortunately they will no longer have any more targets. Now, we had a bit of a scare, which was that the White House was looking to shut down the budgets for dozens of missions. And it looks like Congress has overturned that decision. And so a lot of those missions are going to continue to be funded. And one of those is New Horizons. And it's not like it's a lot of money, right? Like, you're literally just communicating with the spacecraft, drawing in any of the science that it's still doing in the outer solar system. It's on the order of a couple of $1 million a year to maintain communication with the spacecraft. But we went through the scare where it almost got shut down. And actually earlier as well, not just this current budget crisis, but there was like another point where it had gotten targeted. And this point now should be safe. And there was a paper that came out, feeling like 6 months ago-ish. And we reported on it on Universe Today that the New Horizons team had proposed time in not only on Vera Rubin, but on other telescopes to do follow-on observations to try and identify those targets while they still have time. So this is the plan, there's a lot of scientists that are just waiting on Vera Rubin to deliver those initial surveys to find some of the objects, the supernovae, the asteroids, the near-Earth objects, the interstellar objects, all of that. And one of those will definitely be the New Horizons team that's waiting for a better discovery of Kuiper Belt objects. So stay tuned for that one. Craig H999, when the Earth's magnetic poles flip, is that something catastrophic for the planet, or is it just something that happens and everybody adjusts to it, or is simply unaware of it? We don't know what it's going to feel like for our modern sort of scientific existence when the Earth's poles flip. The last time this happened was about 700,000 years ago. And it's amazing. Like, the science that this has been figured out is absolutely incredible. There's this sort of field called paleomagnetism. And what you get is that you have lava flows where lava is coming out of a volcano. And there are these little iron crystals that form inside the lava flow that align with the magnetic field of the Earth at the time. And then if the polarity of the Earth's field flips, then the alignment of these crystals will flip as well. And so people can go back through ancient lava flows and they can see the directionality of the Earth's magnetic field at different times as they move through the stack. and work out on average how long this takes to happen. And what seems to happen is that you sort of go from the Earth polarity being one way. The north magnetic pole is the north pole of the Earth, and the south magnetic pole is the south pole of the Earth. And then you enter this kind of jumbled period, and then the flip happens, and now the polarity of the planet is reversed. And it's actually kind of similar to what happens to the polarity flip on the sun. Although with the sun one, it is just like clockwork. Every 11 years or so, you get this flip on the sun. And while the Earth's one can vary in length, and we're actually like a little overdue for this polarity flip to happen. And so people see the wandering of the North Pole, and they say, well, maybe this is an indication that the poles are going to flip. You know, if it hasn't happened in hundreds of thousands of years, the chance of it happening in our lifetime is very low. But, you know, on the good news, we don't see extinction events in the fossil record compared to the geomagnetic events. So whatever happens during the polar flip, like there's got to be more radiation that's let into the atmosphere, but maybe the Earth's, maybe the atmosphere can absorb it and protect us down on the surface. We don't see like a die-off every time this happens. So we know that it can't be that catastrophic, but we've never run this against our modern electrical grid. And the time that I'm recording this, we got a X-class flare off the sun just a couple of days ago. Now there's an aurora alert. I've got clear skies, which is why the telescope is gone. Hopefully we'll be able to, actually the telescopes are gone. The Sea-Star and the Dauber are in use, but that means that we'll be able to hopefully see some auroras. And so when you get these flare activities, and if you don't have that really nice magnetic field around the Earth, more of that radiation makes its way into the Earth and so could cause disruptions to our electrical grid. So the answer is we don't know. These are the kinds of questions that we need to be able to understand. We have seen in the past the kinds of flares that the sun can throw at us, the Carrington event, and then these events that are even more powerful than Carrington are written into the tree rings all the way back to about 12,000 years ago. And we just don't know what would happen if the magnetic field was in this jumbled up time, wasn't giving us that nice protection, and we get hit by this really powerful solar flare. We don't know. So the answer is we don't know, but it's the kind of thing that we should be definitely keeping an eye on, be worried about. It's time to shout out all the new $5 patrons and above: Alan Banner, Steve, Chad Daniel, Clem Ski, G. Caleb Sexton, Dave Thins, Flower Guy, Seth Levine, Neil Hadley, and Nick Jones. Join the club at patreon.com/universe today. Subcolons, are there any hypervelocity stars coming from Andromeda? There are almost certainly stars in the Milky Way that originated in Andromeda. We see hypervelocity stars coming out of the Milky Way. Like the escape velocity of the Milky Way is like above 550 kilometers per second. So if a star can go faster than that, either through some kind of recoil event from the supermassive black hole at the heart of the Milky Way, or through being partnered with a supernova, and the supernova goes off and like disappears, then the star is now on a slingshot trajectory out of the Milky Way. And so if you do the math, similar events must be happening in Andromeda, and some percentage of stars have been hurled at us from Andromeda. In fact, there's probably clouds of stars that are going past each other between the Milky Way and Andromeda the entire way. It's amazing, right? There are intergalactic stars, as well as possibly intergalactic objects that have been hurled out of Andromeda in our direction. Same thing with Triangulum. But the question is, like, can we find them? So they're probably out there. I don't know if we'll ever be able to find them. Thomas Starkey, would you consider doing a long-form interview on the Earth 2.0 Hunter satellite from the Chinese Space Agency? I really enjoyed your interview regarding ESA's Plato mission. Absolutely. I've sent probably 10 emails to people in the Chinese Space Agency to conduct interviews with people associated with the telescopes. I wanted to find somebody just with the Chinese space telescope, but as you said, the Earth 2.0 Hunter, that would be amazing. So, part of it is that I think I'm sending messages from a web server or an email server that is run by Google. Like I use Google's email server for Universe Today. So I probably need to get off of Google's email server, which is like a de-Googlification that I should be doing anyway. Or if I send it from my personal, my Gmail account, again, so that's probably getting blocked by the Great Firewall. I know that people in China are looking at Universe Today. I can see traffic from there. So that's challenge number one, is just like even anybody inside China taking my request seriously. Challenge number two is finding somebody who has a good accent. Unfortunately, a good fluent use of the language. We do a lot of interviews with people where English is their second language, and we see a drop off for sure that people are like, well, they might be saying something that's really interesting, but their accent is so heavy that I don't want to listen to this anymore. And that's unfortunate, but I get it. Like, I'm listening to the interview and I'm focusing really carefully and really trying to pick up the value of the things that they're saying. But I totally get that if a person has a very thick accent, it's too difficult to listen to them. So you need to find the people who have really fluent English accents. And they're there, right? When you think about the kinds of people that are throughout the organization, you've got people that maybe were born in Canada or born in the US and are working in the Chinese Space Agency, or they grew up in China, but they went to a school where they were learning a lot of English in it, or they went at a young age and they went to the US and learned English and they have a fluent accent and they go back to China. Like, those people are all throughout the organization. And so those would be the ideal, is a person who's working on a project like that that's really interesting and also is very fluent and can communicate that. And I have a really hard time finding the kinds of people who can connect me with that kind of audience. The other idea, which is, we're kind of not ready for that yet, both sort of philosophically and technologically, is that you could help, like, have a person speak in their native language. And if you want to listen to the native language, then by all means, but you could also hear an AI version where it's translating them into English, but it's still using their voice. It sounds like their voice. That would be really cool. That feels to me like it would be a responsible use of artificial intelligence. And then you could just listen. Do I want the dubbed version, or do I want in their native language version? Either way would be cool. And I would love, really the goal for me is, like, I would love to be able to conduct that interview in Chinese. Like, that would be amazing. And then we could I can re-record my side of the conversation, and then we can provide either like a voice actor to do the English side of their conversation, or we can just, use an AI to dub it in English. That would be really cool. So I would love to be able to interview people. And I'm sure 5 years from now, this problem will just go away. I'll be like, I'll reach out to somebody in China. They'll respond. They'll come on the interview. They'll speak whatever language they want. I'll speak whatever language I want. It'll all be automatically translated. You'll be able to watch it. It'll be very cool, but we're not quite there yet. And so we're having to focus more on reporting in text. So we do a lot of reporting on that kind of stuff on Universe Today, but I think a lot, maybe that is my Roman Empire. I think a lot about how to showcase the work of people who are working on space exploration that aren't speaking English, because all the amazing people in Japan, people in China, there's a lot of really great work that is going on. And we see this very English-centric, very US-centric perspective, which, obviously under the current political climate, it'd be great to showcase this great world that we live in. India is great because everybody in India speaks English. And so I find Indian researchers are very, easy to interview, and that's sort of like a very ready group. And there's a lot of really interesting work coming out of India. So I tend to I don't really have any hesitation when I see, some work India. I know they're going to have a certain level of English proficiency. Did you know you can watch the same video with no ads and get a bonus question over on Patreon completely for free? We call it Q&A Plus. And this week's bonus question, could ants evolve to develop space travel? And I'll put a link in the show notes. All right, those are all the questions that we had this episode. Thank you, everyone who asked your questions in the YouTube comments, everybody who joined me for the live show, which are now making public. And I don't know whether this experiment was a good idea, but we are doing it. So please, YouTube algorithm, if you're watching this, please don't punish our channel for putting a 2-hour-long video live stream on the channel, please. Now, I'm going to pull another topic from the pile of spice, but first, I'd like to thank our patrons. Thanks to Abe Kingston, Andrea Pendretti, Bear Lake Roofing, Brian Bodie, Caradwin, Chuck Hawkins, Commander Baylock, Dark Finga, David Gilson, David Matz, Evan.pro, Greg Feely, James Clark, Jeremy Mattern, Jim Burke, Jordan Young, Josh Schultz, Marcel Smith, Michael Purcell, Nordspace, OneStepForAnimals.org, Porlbeck, Renkaidu, Richard Williams, Sean Sargent, Steve Farley Munley, Team 49, Telescopes Canada, Wolfgang Klotz, and Zeldebor Galactic Defender, who support us at the Master of the Universe level, and all our patrons. All your support means the universe to us. So we have the pile of spice. This is a way for the patrons to summon rants from me about various topics, because whoever controls the spice controls the universe. The patrons control the spice and they control the rants. And so this one comes from Sally Christopher. Do you think that you personally have the mentality and personality to go on a long-range space mission? Not the practicalities, just do you think you could do it mentally or emotionally? So I think that everybody, when they get that question, they instantly go, yeah, no problem, of course. I'm the greatest, right? And, you know, there's this great television show called Alone, where they take people who are very survivor oriented, very, they're into the wilderness, they enjoy the seclusion, and they go to Vancouver Island, my island, and they try to live in November here on this island for a month. And it is really hard. And it's not the survival that's hard. It is the loneliness. It is the lack of connection with other human beings. And when I was younger, I was, I had to be connected to other people. Like I was just like, I couldn't be alone with my own thoughts. I had to reach out and call people and just always be organizing something. As I've gotten older, I've gotten a lot better at that kind of a thing. And, if it was a long duration mission with other people, I'm a very good team player. I'm very easy to get along with. I go along to get along. I am the person who is positive and is sort of keeping everybody's spirits high. I'm very resilient to that kind of a thing, but it's so hard. And you interact with astronauts, and like I've been so fortunate that I've been able to interview a bunch of astronauts, and some for very long periods of time. There was Don Pettit, who was recently one of the astronauts on board the International Space Station. He was the guy who was like taking all these incredible images from the space station. We talked for like 2 hours and covered a lot of these kinds of topics about the sort of the personalities of the people involved and what it takes to be an astronaut. And they spend so much time thinking about the personalities of the people involved. How well are they going to play with others? And they're just like a whole other class of capability of human being, that they have leadership experience, they have scientific experience, that they are test pilots, that they are often have multiple degrees, and they're also just the nicest, most competent, capable people that you can possibly imagine. And so you think that you would be great, and then you chat with an astronaut and you go like, I am a garbage person. I do not compare. So I think I would do, everyone thinks they're better than an average driver. I think I would be better than average in my sort of level of mental fortitude and how well I would be able to handle the rigors of spaceflight and get along with other people and be a team player. But I don't think I'm anywhere near as good as the kind of people that they choose for these missions. People who have been under fire in combat zones in their aircraft and held it together. I mean, they're just another level. So, yeah. So I think, to be brutally honest with myself, I don't think so. All right. That was very cool. We'll talk to you next time.